So this episode is brought to you by SMP Inc. and JPS Computers. And a shout out to all the Rock Rage radio listeners out there. Thank you for listening on this Monday night at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock West Coast time. Thank you guys. So much love. I'm going to let you introduce our next guest to a Hero's Journey podcast.
Hero's Journey podcast. I'm here. I'm Danielle Vasanova with Brian Hopkins. And today we have a very, very special guest on the show, DaJuan Johnson, actor, entrepreneur, international superstar. You probably know him from 7 seasons of the hit TV show Bosch, and creator of Think Bigger Coaching and Think Bigger podcast. DaJuan, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Can I have you follow me around and just say that, every time I walk into a room?
I got you.
No kidding, man. I feel like less than wow. I couldn't have done that if I wanted to. That's awesome.
So much to talk about. DaJuan, tell us the beginning. Where are you from? How did this all come to be?
I'm from Miami. I'm from Miami, Florida. I'm a Florida boy through and through. And I just had a dream to be an actor. And just like any Florida boy or anybody who wants to be an actor, your mom tells you no.
Are you crazy boy?
Your mom just exactly.
Are you out of your damn mind?
You can't pay the bills with that, and you can't do that. And so I snuck away to I first started acting when I was in 8th grade. I did The Wizard of Oz. It just bit me, and I loved it.
Who'd you play in Wizard of Oz?
Coming Scarecrow.
The
Scarecrow. I was, if I only had a brain, I can still remember.
I say that every
the crowd,
day.
The audience, and I can. Yeah, right. It was just a fun thing, and I think not to be a Debbie Downer, but I think one of the things that we do we learn at a young age, and when we grow up, I grew up in such a traumatic household. I will say dramatic. My family was very intense, and a lot of trauma that we escaped through acting. That's what I did, and I can make people laugh, and I can make people go to different places with my acting, and so I just loved it. I loved it, and then I just went to school for it, and ended up out here in Los Angeles, I would say by way of Colorado. And I think that's important to say when I do any of these talks, because I didn't have a direct path straight to Los Angeles or to New York. I still was listening to my mom for all the way up until I was 25, where she was like, you got to go to school. You need to get a grade, a degree and all that stuff. And I just finally was like, all right, Mom, we're good now. Thank you. I'll see you later. I'm going to go out to Los Angeles and we're going to do this. I got all the degrees I can get. And I have not turned back since.
But Colorado, why Colorado?
I graduated college, undergrad, go Gators, University of Florida. And I was scared to come out to Los Angeles. That's what it was. And so I went to grad school for 2 years in Fort Collins, Colorado State. And I fell in love with Colorado. If I ever lived any place, it would be in Denver. Those mountains and all that stuff is just beautiful. But then I worked with students there on a collegiate level, and I got tired of telling everybody to follow their dreams, and I wasn't following mine.
Wow, that's great advice. That is really, wow. No, seriously, it's one of those things, you find yourself, you ever give somebody advice and it's almost like you're standing in the mirror going, I needed to hear this too. So for you to hear that and actually take that leap of faith and go after it, what was that turning point that you said, I'm going to Hollywood? Because I had mine. I went to Hollywood and lived in my car for 3 months there in right off the 170. So that's how bad I wanted it, but I didn't know what I was chasing. So what is it? Was it something did you get something or,
Yeah. No, Brian, gosh, by the way, I live by the 170 now. So
okay. So there you go.
Right now.
Yeah.
I know exactly.
Yeah. Gold's Gym right there. That's where I lived in that parking lot.
I literally could walk to it.
Yeah.
I could walk to Gold's Gym. No, by the way, nobody just I
yeah.
I don't know if I was supposed to say that.
I know.
They're going to come find you now, DaJuan.
Walk my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Now. That's a great question, but I real quick, what I would say though, Brian, is that everything we are saying is about us, right? And for us, and what we hear. So here, let me be clear about this. What people say is about them. What we hear is about us.
Right.
Right. And so all that stuff I was saying was really about me to these students. Go do your dreams, go out there and do that. And it was my first year in grad school that I stopped and I was like, you're being a hypocrite. You're telling everybody to go out there and pursue whatever it is they were doing. And you are not going out there and pursuing your dream because you don't want to make your parents upset. And I was like, you know what? Once also I realized that no matter what I did, my parents are going to be upset. Like, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a thing that happened or an event or there wasn't anything tragic. I just really had that moment of, I need to start living for myself. And I moved out here. There were some friends out here. I got a place and I just did it. And I just did it. And what does doing it mean? I just really started pursuing acting. And my hat's off to anybody that lives in their car, only because I like steak too much. So, yeah, I know, Brian. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
And so I had like multiple jobs so that I could eat. And
I was working. I just didn't know how to navigate that. So I pulled into the gym and bought a 1-year membership and then lived in the car, but I worked at nights at Jerry's Famous Deli there on Ventura. So I was working there from midnight to 7 and then pursuing acting by accident. So I fell into that whole world. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I had to get out of where I was at. I wanted bigger things.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Not to take control of this, but I just wanted to ask, when you say get into better things, was that like back at home or moving out here? What did you?
I was an athlete, and so I got hurt playing sports, and that was the only thing I knew. So all of a sudden, that shift for me was like, what am I gonna do? And so I had a buddy who was he was on a couple of commercials, and I grew up with him, and he was also an athlete who just said, "No, we met James Woods and James Gardner, and they were filming a movie, and the both of them gave us some direction and things that we needed to do, and he went after it 2 years prior to me, and then I went out and followed, but I had no clue what I was doing, and the movie theater was my air conditioning and TV. I slept in my car in the daytime. I showered at the gym and worked out. And I had $7,000 in my car. So it wasn't about, I was saving money. It was just, I really want this. And what is it that I want? And I was trying to figure that out because I had to shift my life. And now it's become
mindset, right?
Yeah.
There's so much about mindset. And that's what your whole show is about. Right,
yeah,
DaJuan?
I think what I love about that story is, when I first moved out to Los Angeles, I like to just say that I didn't have an agent or a friend who was an agent. I didn't know anything like that. I just had some friends that went to undergrad with that were also bouncing around as well. So I didn't know anybody. So I had to figure that part out. And it took a lot longer than I think it takes for some people. And so what you're talking about, Danielle, is I started Think Bigger Coaching because I wanted to be that person that helped others get along their path faster, skip the line, as I say, than I did. I wanted to be that person for people. And I just started sitting at the one-on-one cafe with people that would sit down with me. And I'm like, this is what I did to get on my first show. This is what I did to get my first agent. This is what I did when I first moved out here. And if it cut any time off from any other actor to get to their path faster, then yay, it was a win. And I was just would sit with anybody from the restaurant, anybody that would listen. So Brian, my heart goes out to you because I want to be that guy that sits there with you, that helps you get on your path faster. And that's really how my Think Bigger Coaching was born, because I was getting a lot of success in the theater and acting world. I just wanted to tell people how I was doing it. And I just never believed it was not for me, because there was a lot of people that I remember thinking, if I could just sit down with this actor and just take notes, I bet you it could happen faster. If I could just take that person out to drinks or something, it could happen faster for me. And so I just decided to be that person.
What was the shift for you, DaJuan? What was the shift for you in speeding along the process? Like looking back at your younger self, first moving to LA, what would you tell yourself now?
Have a lot more fun.
Yeah.
If we were really going to go there, I was tunnel vision there for a while. I think here's what I'll say about a shift or what really changed for me. I became accountable to someone else besides myself. Right. Because I started working with like a different coach or working with a group. I created my own group of friends. We were 5 of us. We meet at a coffee shop at 8 a.m. on Tuesday mornings. And we would just say, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm going to do this. And we kept each other accountable. And we just got out there and we found an agent. We started going through the books and figuring that part out. This is a while back. We don't go through books anymore. I know you look on the internet.
I was that though, man. Like, it was the same thing. Like I happened to be picking up a residual check for my buddy, the one I grew up with. Like I said, I pick up his check, and the owner of the agency walks through and goes, "You're not a client," and then comes out, hands me what I want, and then asked me if I would read something, and sent me out on my first audition, and I booked it. And that's how I got into it. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I had never even read a script or read a monologue, which she gave me, so, had I met somebody like you, though, it would have been, sharing that knowledge.
I think that's the point. That's the point, right? To get that. And I think what I hope for, and the other thing that really shifted for me in the acting world was I started to surround myself around people that were doing what I wanted to be doing. So like you said, I think he said his name was James Wood or James Gardner, I think you said something like that. Like I just started getting around a group of people that were auditioning, that had agents, that were working, so that I could start to pick up stuff. And I started to be, this is going to sound calculating, but a little bit was, I started to be selective about like who I was spending time with. And so the conversations changed.
Wow.
Right? Have you ever been in a room where people are talking about $1 million? I'm just saying, or like where people are not stressed about money, or they're talking about stocks and bonds and all that stuff or whatever. It changes. There's a tingle that you just sit back and listen. And that's what I wanted to create for me in the acting world, Danielle. And so I did that, and I got into like the right studio. I started booking. I got with a coach that really believed in me. And we started like working together. And that's when I booked my first television show, Close to Home. And then it was like CSI, and it just started rolling. It started rolling like that. And then I just, and this might be to a fault, I have always been that guy that when I learn something, I want to send the elevator back down to you. Good.
That's
Let me tell you
cool.
what I learned.
That's what we're doing with this podcast.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. We're lifting up. We're lifting up those people around us. And it's the same kind of thing. Yeah. So that's really great. And I think that's how people win. People, you get more out of it by doing that and helping other people and sharing that knowledge. So that's great. Kudos to you, man.
I think the only thing I would change now, if Danielle, you're going to ask that part, is I would make sure that I was solid on that floor first before I sent the elevator back down, if that makes sense. So I was always so conditioned to just make sure, great, I'm here, let me send it back down. But I would get there, do the recon, all of it, and then send back. But that comes with age. Do you know what I mean? And I've been on different shows and I can see different things a little bit better now. I don't think that things have to be lonely at the top. If you rise with your friends, that's like
we rise together, right?
Yes, but that's an expired belief that people are like, this is a dog-eat-dog world, or it's a zero-sum world. That's an expired belief. It does not have to work for us. And so I'm just like, let's do this. Let's rise together.
Well, that's what's great about being here at Sticky Paw Studios for us. I came in, then Danielle, she joined the show, and it's been rising faster because of you sitting next to me, but the team and the people around, it's the same kind of thing. We're all helping each other.
It's a just collective consciousness.
Like you said in the hallway, you were like, we should all just run around and be on everybody's podcast.
Round robin.
Round robin, like every 10 minutes, everybody's jumping on just because we're trying to rise together.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Was there ever a point in your life where it was just getting too hard, or you're just like frustrated and you're like, I don't know if I have it in me to keep going? Like, did you ever have a sort of dark night of the soul, so to speak?
Yesterday.
Really?
Yesterday.
I was like, damn.
Whoa.
I was like, whoa.
Yesterday,
bring it.
It happens a lot. I think the more we go on in this industry, if we're talking about the acting part, not the coaching part, but we can get to that too, and why I even started the other part of why I started that business. But the acting part, the bigger these roles get, and the bigger the parts get, you can see yourself at Comic-Con. You can see yourself, getting so close to all of the dreams that you ever wanted, and then it goes to somebody else because of, clout. They're more famous and stuff. Like, that stuff gets you into your mind, and you have to really do psychological warfare. You have to stand guard at the gates of your mind, because what happens are those little voices come in, and then you're like in the shower, laying on the floor, singing sad love songs. Sorry, was that just me?
No, dude, that was me. That's the reason why I don't do what you guys do anymore. I stepped away from acting because I got way too close too many times. I climbed my way to William Morris, and the world was like opening up, but then it became something that I couldn't control. And so I became, music just took over, and music is what I do for a living. And that I could emote, that I could control, that the best at my ability, you know what I'm saying? So
it's almost therapeutic in a way, whereas sometimes acting makes you want to go to therapy.
Right.
You must have a therapist. You must have a therapist. I have one of those, but I mean, for real, Danielle.
My therapist was always my coach, my acting coach.
Yeah,
I was like, if I'm paying you already.
I think it comes along with the territory to like want to quit. Like, and I think, and so it is, I'm older now, and I think what the quits are not like I'm giving up on the industry. The quits are, I need to take a step back and maybe get out of LA. I need to just recharge a little bit more, because that one hurt,
Right.
That's what that is now, because this is what I do. I love acting. I love all of this, and this comes with the territory. But I do have in a lot of moments, and I mean, we just wrapped 7 seasons on a show, and you just like, sometimes you're only as good as your last role. Right. And so you think to yourself, am I any good? Why are they not like signing up? Like as soon as I finish my show, they should be ready for me to sign something new, and you just have to be very conscious about the mindset.
So it's not really a quit. It's more of a pivot, so to speak.
That's a great way of looking at it, and more of a pivot. But I would also just say it's a little bit more of a take a breath.
Yeah.
A pivot, because a pivot, when I think of it, is I feel like there's something wrong with me, and I need to pivot me. You know what I mean? Like, I got to change something about the way I am. I don't think that is actually true. If you're doing and you're getting close to agents or managers or to parts, booking things, you're on the right path, right? I can't change at the moment that I have a different star power than Chris Rock. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm getting in the room for stuff that maybe Chris Rock or whoever is auditioning for. And so sometimes it's just not that. We just have to keep doing exactly what we're doing, and it'll all fit into place. I do believe that.
Good for you. It's
Bryan, that sounded like you didn't believe me.
No, it is a good for you. I do believe you, because here's somebody who just said, I just wrapped 7 seasons on a show. I applaud you. That is a big deal.
Huge deal.
As an actor in Hollywood, I got a guest starring role on something, and you are freaking out. But my problem was always I would be on the set worrying about my next job when I was if I could go back and tell myself, enjoy this right now. You worked so hard to get this, and you got denied so many times. Enjoy this moment. Be present. Be in the moment, and not worry about the next one. The next one comes, and you are helping others along this process. And so I think that's just karma. It's good karma for you too, as well. I mean, it is a business, but it's good karma. And Hollywood is not that. They, on the outside, when we think of Hollywood, that's not helping each other is not the actual Hollywood that I think of. So, yeah.
Well, I hope I'm changing that for you.
Good, you are.
I think that, again, the cult of average, I call them, like, that's exactly what the cult of average thinks. Like, we have to be dog eat dog world. And I just don't believe that. I really, really, really think, hey, like you just said, let's run around and get on everybody's podcast, because, it's let's keep podcasting going. We can look at this anyway. Let's keep people interested in this. It can totally shift if we wanted to shift. And I don't think so. And anything I know about, even talking about money, you know what I mean, about booking and all that stuff that we're not supposed to talk about. I'm like, come to me, let's talk. Let's talk.
Wow.
You can always talk to us.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Growing up, who are some of your greatest inspirations?
You know, really and truly, it might sound really kind of geekish, but like, as much as I talk about my mom, like she definitely was one, for sure. But in the world of famous people, if we're talking about that, I loved Angela Bassett. I loved Denzel Washington. I love Ed Norton, Frances McDormand. Like those people, I would just sit back with my mouth open and just watch those people who inspired me to continue to be an actor. And, those were the people from my generation that were just amazing. And I haven't had the chance to work with any of them. So if they're listening to this podcast, I want you to know that I'm available. Sorry.
That's awesome.
Always be plugging.
Yeah, always. Yeah. Sorry, man. But I love that you went to your mom. My mom and dad, that was for me. I chose something that is out of the norm. Sports was all I knew. And then all of a sudden, I'm living in my car. My mom found out through one of the podcasts, somebody asked me, and I had said that, and she calls me and went, "You lived in your car?" I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't tell you that. It was."
You're not supposed to know that.
Yeah,
Mom.
it was, but this was just something I knew I really wanted to do. I knew it was different. Just like sitting back and watching you, it was really cool because Donnie, who's off camera here, was just like, "Danielle, she's a great businesswoman." That was his first words as he's following you and seeing those things. My niece who saw you saying the same thing, you inspired her. She got lost in the rabbit hole of you. And that's what this is all about. We're sitting here sharing all this. And, you said you sat around with your actor friends very much, everybody was alike and keeping everybody accountable. This is aging me. But at Jury's, when I worked there and was doing this, the guys I sat at a table with were Tony T. Russell, is an actor, Vince Vaughn, Mars Lazar, who was Vince's best friend, River Phoenix, my brother, one of my buddies, Bruce Larson, who's a comedian out there and actor still, little guy, and Cuba Gooding Jr. And we would all sit and meet a couple times a week at Jerry's. Mars would get me in trouble because he was broke, and Mars and Vince would get me in trouble because I worked there, and they would just bounce around and eat everybody's food and fries. But then we'd meet at 2:00 in the morning and sit there and read stuff with each other. And so that was my group of friends, coming up. And what was funny was Cuba would always wear his Boys in the Hood Letterman's jacket that he got from the movie.
Yeah.
And he'd always roll in wearing that. And I'm like, good for you, man. Because all the girls knew that it was awesome. But there were some really cool moments that came out of he won an Oscar from a decision based on us having hey, should I take this part or this part? And T. Russell goes, take that one. And he goes, why? And he goes, because if you don't take that, I'm on hold for it. So he goes, all right, then I'll take this small part in A Few Good Men, and I'll take this small part, and then you can have that part. And now we both get to work. And then he met Tom Cruise in that movie, and Tom Cruise, he ends up going and winning an Oscar with, Show Me the Money.
Yeah.
So it's just fun. You don't know you're going to be a part of history and those kinds of things just based on decisions of buddies sitting around.
But it's putting it out
there. And I believe that I started that group. Danielle, that was the first iteration of a power group that I had before I even started Think Bigger Coaching. Was I would get my my friends together and we would do this, and I would just run it. I would just run it because I believe don't be afraid to create what you need. And I needed community. And I know as an extreme extrovert, I thrive off of just communal talks and oh, great, you're doing that. Just like Bryan just said, I think it's important for people finding your tribe and having these conversations. And that was the first time. That was the first time. And everybody in that group, except for one person who wasn't working then, is working and on shows.
Wow.
And Blackbird from Apple.
Love
just
that
did
show. Yeah.
Wonderful Falls. Yeah. The guy who plays the cop.
Yeah.
Who plays the bad cop that goes to the prison guard.
Yeah.
It goes, he turns, and
That's
one of the people that was in. Yep, that he was in that first iteration of Power Groups, and people on NBC, Peacock, Rutherford Falls. We all were that people. I just called people up and I said, "Hey, we're working at this restaurant. Let's keep our grind going on acting. That's where our focus is." And look, we're all working right now. We're all. I mean, it's not a Cuba story with the.
Oh no!
Wait,
hey, come on! No, I'm not doing that.
Something.
You're working now. Mine was like ancient history. Like long time ago.
DaJuan, you're think bigger. You got this.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Think bigger, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is beautiful, and I just want to be that for other actors. I want to be that person, and so I hope I am. And it's great to hear when I hear it reflected back to me, because that was my dream. That was my dream.
Good for you, man.
Do you use visualization a lot?
I use meditation a lot, right?
Meditation.
And I meditate. And the thing about visualization for me is, I think that yes, but I don't use it as much as I should, because I think what we do is we have a vision of our future, and we don't like just linger in that vision. We just have it. And so when I do, I try to sit in it, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get on my next show. And it's going to be so fun. I'm going to be on set, and they're going to be like, "What's up, DaJuan?" I'm like, "Hey." And then we're going to go, and I'm going to go read. My script's going to have my name. The parking lot's going to have, my name on it. It's going to be great again. And, that's lingering in our vision. And sometimes we have to stop and settle in it. And so I should be doing a lot more of that, because it makes me full. It makes me gravitate towards something, instead of waking up every day and being like, okay, what do I got to get to? Instead of, let me just play in this dream a little bit longer.
Dude, you are the full embodiment of what this show was when trying to come up with what it was going to be. And that is, sitting back and listening to you talk is inspiring. If you were standing here, I'd be looking you right in the eyes, but now I got to look at this damn camera because you're not here and tell you thank you, because that is exciting. That's what I want. It helps me. It helps the people listening, people watching. And, we have our tribe here in this building, and all the creativity and everything. And this one next to me, she keeps me accountable. Like, there is nothing that slips through the cracks. And I'm like, damn. I joked, can I take a pee now? Because she's so
Brian.
She everything.
You know what you did, Brian.
Yeah, I know. Damn it. Come on, man. Yeah. Oh no, it's great. It's really great. So, is there anything that you're working on next, or are you just waiting to see if the show gets picked up, or was that?
Can you talk about it? Are you allowed?
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Okay, that's okay.
Second, I think Danielle knows, because we've talked about it, behind closed doors. But I am doing something right now, and it's exciting, that I am working on currently, and I'm on hold for something else. So that's the stuff that I don't have control over. What I do have control over is, I have been working on. I also want to direct. That's what I want to do. That's like the next evolution of what do you want to do in your career. And we've been also. I wrote a short film, and I shot the short film, and I've been using that as a proof of concept to direct. But also, we're trying to shop it around as a series. So I had to write a pilot and just the other stuff that is creative. You. I think one of the most detrimental things that was ever probably said to any actor, not just me, was that you only have to do one thing. You only should do one thing, I should say, right? So I only thought if I wanted to do anything outside of acting, that must mean I don't love acting as much, and that's just not the case, And if we as actors or creatives, or maybe yourself, even Brian, you're talking about other things you wanted to do. If we were told you can do other things and be hyphens and all that stuff, we might have some awesome actors, but also awesome CEOs. We might have some awesome actors, but also people who are out there running Fortune 500s or something like that as well. But we've been made to choose between this and that. And I love writing. I shadow directed on Bosch, and I got to work with directors, and I was like, this is pretty awesome.
That's great.
You get to call these shots.
Yeah. How cool is that? I'm sitting next to somebody who's like that,
I know. Right.
For real. I am.
Right back at you.
I know. But it's that kind of world that we all live in. And, off camera, we talk about it. I've got projects going. I'm back into acting and acting projects. And, and my acting teacher used to say, because I would complain about man, I didn't get it. And he's like, you know what you have to do? You're a creative person. Go write and create something that only you can play. And I remember Vince, that's what he did when he went and did what movie he did, the Vegas movie or whatever. I forget what
The
it was
Big
called.
Lebowski, was it? Did he do? Not the Big Lebowski.
No. It was
Swingers.
Swingers.
Oh,
There you go.
Swingers, yeah.
And it's same kind of thing, because the guy was like 6'5" and an actor, and he's going into his auditions with no shoes on and stuff, because he was so tall. And and I'm 6'3", and he was taller than I am. So it's that kind of thing, just being creative and why limit yourself? Why? There's, it's.
They want to put us in a box.
Yeah, you don't.
They want to know how to sell us and how to do that. And I think it's kind of detrimental, because then you like clamp down and you're like, I can't be a model and I can't do that. You actually can take over the world is what I say, y'all. Take it over.
Just do it. Do the damn thing.
Just do the damn thing.
I love it.
It's not like they're think inside the box, or think outside the box. It's like think like there is no box.
We talked
right?
about this off the air too. That is it. That is
Yeah.
exactly it. Yeah.
Part of think bigger. What advice would you give to anybody listening out there, a young girl or boy who looks up to you?
Yeah, you know what I would say? It depends. Where are we giving advice, first of all? Like, am I just telling you about life advice? And,
No, just any kid, just like with, big dreams.
Any dream you want. I would really, really say any dream that you have, that you want, can be achieved. It might just take a little bit of work, but that work doesn't have to be hard. Right. I think we're all told if we put in the hard work, then we're going to get the benefits. And I think that's also not great. So I would say just let it be easy. Let it be fun. Understand that the road might get tough and there might be some bumps in it, but it's all how you recover from those bumps that's going to make the bigger difference. It really, 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 really is.
Love that. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
I did that, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. You did good. Nice job. Yeah.
I love it.
Well,
do you have anything else? Any
no,
other questions?
this is crazy. I'm like ready to just leave here and go tackle the world because of you, dude. So this is so cool. It was really great to have you. And the name of your podcast, one more time.
I mean, you're never going to guess, but it is called the Think Bigger Actors Podcast. I mean, I'm branding Think Bigger. I am creative, but I was just going to go with the brand, stay on brand and just go with that.
No, that's great. That's great. So, and I wish you nothing but mad love and success and luck and everything that it takes, because like I said, I had to step away from your world, and for you to be able to pass advice on to other people and help them come up and want to do that. And then, like I said, that's incredible. I think that's how my life, that's what I do constantly. And I probably, when people don't even want to hear it, it's just something I want to share, and it makes me feel good.
Keep creating and reinventing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good one, by the way. Reinventing and being okay with the reinvention of yourself, right?
Sure.
I'm not saying change, but like, hey, okay, cool. What else can we do to shake this up? You know what I mean? The energy gets stale.
Right.
So I agree with that.
Yeah.
You have to constantly, it's that inertia, right? That constant state of motion.
I love the law of inertia, right? Nothing can stop that motion but something else, right? An object. I love it.
And you have to elevate, right? There's different stages, different levels, different things that intrigue you or that you want to do. You don't have to keep.
And I guess I would just say, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
More than okay.
I think that we think it's more. Yeah, it's more than okay to want more, to elevate, to be more. And it's not selfish. It's not any of that stuff. One of the best things I have heard in my life, I think in a very long time, is dissatisfaction is a creative state. Dissatisfaction is what stop people from walking all the time and building bikes and building cars. Or dissatisfaction was we went from candles to lights. It's like the invention of that stuff. So it's okay to be dissatisfied with things. Just be thankful. I'm very thankful for everything I have in my life, but it's okay to be dissatisfied, because that's going to get you to the next level.
Yeah, you can be mad, you can be angry, you can be dissatisfied, frustrated, all of these things, but those create that spark within you, right? That drives you to do the next thing.
If you allow it not to clamp you down.
If you allow it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you allow it.
Wow. Well, I am so happy that we patched him in, and we did you're our very first. You broke our cherry. So it's awesome, man. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so happy you did this with us.
Yes, thank you.
So DaJuan Johnson, thank you so much, dude.
How do I get tickets to your show? Like when I come out, I mean, I need to come see you, man.
Well, here's the thing.
You're welcome anytime.
Yeah, I am. Anytime you come into Vegas, let us know. We'll have you in studio, which would be really great. And this place will be on fire with all the energy that you have. That's for sure. But I'm the lead singer of the band Elvis Monroe. So I actually am playing in San Diego it's the Blended Festival. So it's like T.I. and Everclear and Blanco Brown. And I'm on the main stage at 4 o'clock, October 8th. There's a plug. But
come see you there.
Yeah. But it's
always be plugging.
Yeah. I'm in a touring band, so just getting ready to just, hit the road again and do all that. And that's why we stack all these in so many days, because I got a busy young lady next to me who's off taking over the world.
DaJuan, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me and I'm usually on the Instas. Is that what the kids are saying these days?
Yeah.
The Insta.
On the Insta.
At DaJuan Johnson, and also at Think Bigger Coaching. So those two places. And look me up. I'm also on TV, and TV coming near you. So
I love it. It's so great, man. Congratulations to you, and thank you for coming on our show. We appreciate it. And we'll repay the favor at any time on your podcast.
I was just gonna say, I was gonna be in touch and say, hey, will you guys come and do that? And I just want to send a love note to you, both of you, and say thank you for doing what you do. Right?
Thank you.
I'm doing what I'm doing in my corner, but just know that you are touching so many people as well, and the world needs us.
Thank you.
Right? We get to show up in that, and it really, really, really needs us to be great at what we're doing. And yay, thank you. I'm so excited to be great with both of you.
Dude, thank you.
Yay.
I'd give you a hug if you were here. So send us out.
All right.
You guys are watching Hero's Journey podcast. Like us. Tap all the things on all of the different platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and we are on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. We'll see you next week.
Dream, and I believe it's coming around to me.